Welcome to the Frog Pod, your weekly video podcast series by Costa Rican Vacations. I'm your presenter, Adam Baker, and as you know by now, every week I chat to my colleagues, my friends, and industry experts when it comes to everything Costa Rica related. We've got a fun topic for you today, which is talking about luxury and what does that mean in Costa Rica. And to discuss the topic, we have Aaron Vanecek, who's come back for a second episode, and Shay, Tippie. Guys, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me back.
Shay, for those of us and the audience out there who don't know, tell me a bit about yourself and what brought you to Costa Rica.
Well, the classic story.
Uh-huh.
I was backpacking around South America, and I knew that I always wanted to live in a foreign country. I spoke Spanish, loved the beach, and it was Costa Rica. So I have been here about 13 years now. I lived the first 8 years at the beach in Manuel Antonio, and then I moved to the city, San Jose, about 5 years ago.
I've actually been here about the same time as you,
Yeah.
and how quickly does that time pass?
I know. I'm like,
It's crazy,
I'm on my
right?
13-year trip,
Yeah.
I know.
Did you have plans to stay originally, or what was your original plan? For coming down?
When I was backpacking around South America, I really wanted to find a job, and so I kind of was thinking about different ideas of what I might like to do, and I went on Craigslist and found a job in Manuel Antonio in Costa Rica, and I'd always said, people would ask me all the time, how long are you going to stay for? And I was like, as long as I'm happy. So, I've thought about going back a few times to California, which is where I'm from, but life is too good down here. So
That's it, right?
I think I'm sticking around.
Well, I go back. And how long have you been planning vacations now with us?
7 years now.
7
Yeah,
years.
That's crazy too. It's such a pleasure though to help people, enjoy Costa Rica. So.
Fantastic. And Aaron, a.k.a. Mr. Gringo, hopefully
I'm back.
he's back. Hopefully some of the audience have maybe searched you on YouTube
It's on
for
there.
those
They can learn
Honduran ads.
Learn all about Honduran tortillas.
Exactly. Aaron, just remind us what brought you down originally.
Originally, it was an exchange student who was in my house, my family's house, when I was in high school. So he was there for a year, became like my brother, still is like my brother. He was from the northwestern province of Guanacaste. I came down to visit him, loved it, kept coming back until I eventually stayed.
Fantastic. And nice. Well, and Aaron, how long have you been planning vacations now with us?
I've been with Costa Rican Vacations, the Namu travel group, for 4 years now.
So you guys are in an excellent position to discuss this topic. You're both experienced veterans in planning vacations, high-end vacations, which is principally what we do. And the topic today is luxury. And sometimes people think, well, in Costa Rica, what does that mean? Especially compared to perhaps places like the States or your popular European destinations, Paris, Rome, London, Madrid. So one of the open-ended questions that we want to discuss as we begin this is luxury in Costa Rica. What can you expect? So Shay, how does it compare from perhaps a typical 5-star experience in the States?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the important thing to know about luxury in Costa Rica is that it's really, for me, it's really about location and proximity to, nature and wildlife and beautiful views and tropical landscape. So luxury in Costa Rica is about all of that, plus having the comforts of, luxury amenities and, beautiful decor and fine finishings and things like that, plus really friendly and personalized service. So, Costa Ricans are known to be some of the most warmest and friendliest people on the planet, really. So,
Thank you.
It's so true. So it's just a nice, combination of location, again, luxury amenities, and then service. I think that's what set Costa Rica apart.
This is something that I've always wondered when I work with Pablo traveling around doing these interviews. A lot of the questions that I ask of the general managers and the staff on site about what's the best thing about your hotel, and often we're filming these really nice 5-star resorts, boutique hotels, and a lot of the time the guys say service. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is something that is actually linked with the idea of luxury, and is it something that an individual would pay for? And you say the service, and I agree, it's always really warm, especially in most cases with the partners that we work with. But is that something in the States that's looked for, along with great location and all the fancy amenities? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I mean, probably. I think I think it's nice coming to a Latin American country, foreign country out of the United States, and knowing that you're going to be welcomed, especially at the higher end hotels. They really, really, strive to offer a high level of service, which is what we do as well, just in the general vacation. But, it's like when staff know your name and they're interested in your day and they're asking you questions and they're always have a smile on their face, I think you definitely are paying for that.
And Aaron, can I ask you then, because that's a good point Shay makes, but do you think, I still think we get a lot of that service with 3-star hotels, 4-star hotels?
We do, and I think it's a degree, and luxury. One of the things that's when people talk about luxury, it's such an objective term, because what was luxurious for me when I was coming down as a 20-something-year-old college kid, I was staying at a $40 a night hotel, and for me, wow, that's luxurious.
Correct.
But now that I've become a somewhat of it sounds terrible, but a hotel snob, because I get to go visit all of these properties. I guess the main thing to think about with luxury here is, if you're thinking about, the word luxury as an objective way, luxury in Costa Rica is not about opulence. Sometimes people think luxury and they're thinking of the hotels in an Abu Dhabi or something, or
Totally.
that kind of the Middle East, where it's just this ornate,
completely lavish, over the top.
I think with the luxury hotels, if we're talking 5-star hotels, it is about service, and it's about getting all the details right. The little things on, say, the turn down service that make a difference when you come back, and it's there's something there for you.
Oh, I always love the little treats on your pillow.
Yeah.
Right, and they're the details, right?
Yeah.
It is the details. It's, not sticking to something, it's a waiter, asking you what you want, not offering you what they have, and that kind of thing goes along. So that level of service. And when I think about, true luxury, and when I like my clients that have been, high net worth individuals, and to hear their feedback afterwards, I do understand that, we do get it right in terms of the service and the expectations they have from, the hotels, but also from our tour operators. The fact that when they say they're going to be here to pick you up for a tour at 10 a.m., they're there at 9:59.
Always.
Yeah,
right.
Always.
Yeah.
It's clockwork, and that's something to be really considered.
Yeah, I definitely, after reading some of the reviews all the time, that's something that people always pick up. Always available, always on time, always ready, as it was planned. That's a really good point. One thing that I've noticed after being in the country for years doing this job is that, along with service is part of the 3 pillars. I always think you need great service, or good service, really good beds, because you need to sleep well, and decent food. If any of those one things kind of slips, your whole experience, I think, is tarnished. That's something that I've experienced, and that kind of, I think we've discussed. But the other thing that for me is an interesting definition of luxury is space. Perhaps when you were traveling around in the $40 hotel, it's probably quite a small room, maybe with an ensuite bathroom if you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you go up, in the years, and perhaps you pay for something a little bit more luxurious, the space is an interesting definition, and the suites get larger and the amenities in them. I don't know if that's something you agree with.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of the luxury boutique hotels especially will offer, indoor-outdoor showers, which is really unique. So you can be taking a shower and have an ocean view, or surrounded in tropical gardens outside. That also, some hotels will have private jacuzzi tubs on the terrace or the balcony, or private plunge pools. So then we're really getting into, the luxury kind of style. And
Well, speaking of those luxury styles, Shay, what would you say is the most luxurious experience in the rainforest? Let's break it down by region.
Yeah, I mean, the rainforest for me, my favorite hotel, I have 2 favorite hotels in Costa Rica, and the one in the rainforest is Nayara Springs, by far, which is part of Arenal Nayara Hotel. Nayara Springs is the adult-only portion of the hotel, where you can have your own private villa, again, with a private plunge pool, huge space, tons of beautiful decor. Your own tropical balcony, and it's just so divine. It's hard to describe. Yeah. It's really wonderful. And then also the service there is great. And they have a few resort pools, a few different restaurants, a top-notch spa. So and again, that really does bring a lot of what luxury in Costa Rica is bringing the outside in, right? So there's kind of open air concepts, and you're really feeling nature, while also having comfortable beds, and just a lot of great living space. So
yeah, Nayara Springs is a lovely option. That's pretty much one of the nicest luxurious options near the Arenal volcano as well. So
Yeah.
it kind of covers both things. At Nayara, you really feel like you're enveloped in the gardens and the jungle regions. The food is really good there. Guys, don't forget we'll put links in everything below to where we're discussing, so you guys can check them out.
Whenever I've stayed in a Springs villa, I'm like, I could totally live here. I don't want to leave.
Wouldn't be a bad place to work, right? Get in the morning, jump in
Like
your
inside my little villa,
fed plunge pool.
Now you need to go try their luxury tents. that
Oh,
they're
I
opening
know.
soon.
That's coming up soon, right?
Yeah.
a couple
Was it
months.
early next year? A couple of months.
It's
time?
it'll be open for Christmas, so I think they're just putting the
for
final
Christmas.
touches. Yeah,
Okay. Well, hopefully we need to shoot that property
you
soon.
need to head
I'll
out there.
go.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how they mix the glamping concept, luxurious camping with the other two projects they have there.
Definitely.
Aaron, what would you say is one of the most luxurious options for you by the beach?
By the
And obviously there's a lot of beach in Costa Rica.
yeah.
yeah, by the beach, and this comes from me because I'm not. The color of my skin, I'm not really a beach person, but one of some of the luxury options that I really enjoyed on the beach. I mean, the one that I was at recently was Casa Cameleon up in there's two of them, but one of them that is up in the northern Guanacaste area. That one because of the private plunge pools in each room, the views, every
Oh my God.
room having an amazing view. I thought that was pretty top notch, and they really did it right with the food.
Nice.
I really enjoy. There's one of the hotels in Coco, which we have a really good partnership with regard to Villa Buena Onda. I think that's a great experience because it's again one of those little. The staff there will go out of their way to get everything right, and then a beach hotel that I personally really enjoyed, which is more of along the Eco Lodge as opposed to the beach hotel, but it is on a beach, is Playa Cativo.
Nice.
Which Playa Cativo they did, we're talking about the amazing beds, but having it be completely open air during the day and then rolling down the screens at night. But just being able to have that immersion of hearing the waves and seeing the dolphins. We had humpback whales on the way out there, along with all of the wildlife surrounding, but without sacrificing the amenities, was really an amazing experience.
That's a really good point. In that area, Shay, the Osa region where Cativo is located, there's an interesting idea because you do have to spend a little bit more money per night to stay in this area.
Definitely.
Generally due to the isolation, but also those kind of high-end eco lodges. Give somebody an idea as to why there might be a higher cost in Osa, but what you get with it.
Well, I think all of the hotels that we work with down there include 3 meals a day. So that's, contributes to the higher price tag. But really, I think when it comes down to it, it's just like one of those once-in-a-lifetime places, It's very remote. It's very untouched. Rainforest. It's so beautiful. It's like living in a tropical dream, really.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to know, too. I mean, it does, when a hotel is, eco resort or sustainable, it'll cost a little bit more to run that, and so they have, like heating from solar panels and, water filters and all that kind of stuff. So it just does kind of drive the price up a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of the price that you pay goes back into the local communities.
Yeah, absolutely.
As well, right? A lot of the lodges that certainly we sell, I don't think I could name one that, that didn't put some of the money back into the immediate area because these communities are so small.
Right.
And kind of isolated. They're off the
Totally.
grid slightly.
Well, and they're putting money back in the community in two ways. And they're investing in the community, but just the fact that they're employing people from those
absolutely.
communities, that's generating like there's the primary benefit of the jobs, but then there's also secondary jobs that are created by that additional money flowing through the economy there.
And that's a good point because that actually comes back to some of the service that we were talking about. The people that are really employed and have really good training in these different hotels are incredibly proud, as well as being super friendly and warm and welcoming. And you can just tell that they actually love to tell you about the property, about the area, about the wildlife, the guides, for example. And I always think that's something that it's not that necessarily you're paying, you expect to get that. But when you get, it's just so warm and honest over perhaps staying in another 5-star brand hotel where the people are very nice, but that's what they're paid to do.
And that's one of the disadvantages with some of our luxury travelers that want to say either charter a helicopter or a private flight. One thing that diminishes from their experience by doing that is they miss out on the private driver kind of seeing the countryside and hearing the stories along the way and stopping at the local places to try the meals and the snacks and things like that you won't get when you're doing the private flights or the helicopter and things like that.
Yeah.
So oftentimes I'll say, well, let's do one so you can at least hear the story of the country. And a lot of times people will appreciate me for doing that.
Yeah, and I think people walk away having like made new friends with the hotel staff, you know, like they have like new friends versus staying at, you know, a really high-end luxury hotel that might have like a stuffy feel to it. You know what I mean? Where you're like, the service is great, but you're not necessarily getting to know someone on a a personal basis. So I think that's really special too. That's what Costa Rica has to offer.
Totally agree. And I reckon many of our travel consultants and colleagues in the office would definitely be able to name one or two people where they've made really good, friendship over the years and visiting these places. Everybody has somebody, right? In terms of sometimes the idea of spas and wellness centers, that comes a lot with the idea of luxury. Are you, Aaron, into your massages when you go away?
I wish I could say I was, but I'm not. But I know Shay is the total spa.
This is another reason, right? Pablo will probably atone to the fact I also enjoy a good massage and a lovely spa. I'll admit to that.
Nobody would ever know.
Nobody would ever know.
TV.
Exactly. But to that point, Shay, what are your maybe top 3 spa wellness centers in the country?
You know, it's interesting because I think Costa Rica is really starting to become more and more of a wellness destination for travelers. I mean, it's so easy because with the nature and the wildlife and the adventure activities, it's so... there's so many opportunities to like really get out and about and be active and feed your mind and your body and your spirit just with the natural surroundings, and then also with spa services and things like that. I found lately that a lot of the higher end hotels will have a standard kind of gym type setting with state of the art equipment, like very nice. But a few hotels that I've stayed in lately actually have gym equipment inside the rooms. So they'll have like a yoga mat or a few dumbbells, so you don't even have to leave your suite. You can just exercise there.
I noticed that at More
Arenal, and then Casa Chameleon has it as well. So I think that's really special. Some places will have yoga decks, meditation decks, opportunities for that, and then of course spas. I think that the spas in Costa Rica, really the top ones, my favorites, are the ones that really blend in the tropical, essence into bringing harmony and everything like that. And some of them will have signature treatments too. Like there's a lot of great luxury spas in the volcano area, and they'll have signature treatments using volcanic mud, or coffee grinds on your face kind of type thing. So, there's lots of opportunities for that. Nayara Springs again is one of my favorite spas.
Best massage you've had in the country?
Oh gosh, I've had so many.
We live a hard life.
I know.
Quality control.
Quality control, yeah.
I had a really wonderful massage at Andaz, which is in the Papagayo Peninsula.
That's a nice spa.
Mm-hmm. That's a great
and the views as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, I think the therapist had some physical training background, so, was highly trained and qualified physician.
I think you made a good point that it's really about the ambience as well as the treatment, because you're going to be paying a fair amount possibly for depending on what you want, especially at some of these nice more established spas. The Tabacon Spa is a famous one in Arenal. El Silencio in the Cloud Forest have a whole area with the yoga mixing the wellness center. But I definitely think that whole mental well-being of being surrounded or enveloped somewhere with the sounds, the natural sounds.
Yeah, and I think that's also what, with luxury, that you are paying a little bit for that too. I mean, again, you can get that at, the more kind of 3-star type hotels, but, and I think that's where the concept of barefoot luxury comes in, or people that can really get away from electronics and noise and lots going on, and they can just come down and relax. Yeah.
What do you mean by barefoot luxury? This is a term that's coming up a little bit more now commonly.
I think that it means, having kind of a simple, barefoot, simple, there's no stuffiness, you don't have to dress up, it's kind of resort casual, just a feeling of being completely relaxed and kind of getting back down to basics, but having the comforts of luxury amenities and great beds and things like that.
Nice. Yeah, no, highly recommended. It's certainly growing, I think, in Costa Rica. Definitely. In different areas it's kind of picking up. Aaron, talking about, obviously we mentioned hotels. When it comes to rentals, this is something that's super popular, especially if you're coming down with a family or a group or a huge celebration, maybe a reunion. Costa Rica's got some fantastic places all over the
Absolutely.
country. What are your favorite places to recommend for high-end houses or rental
For
properties?
high-end houses, there are a couple places that I really enjoy. For example, Las Catalinas, which keeps growing and has been built into this, beautiful Mediterranean type look. It has a mix of Mediterranean village with, Costa Rican on the beach.
And this is up in Guanacaste,
Up in
right?
Guanacaste.
Yeah.
And Las Catalinas on the beach, on the Playa Danta, the Danta beach. It's the homes there are all unique, so there's nothing cookie cutter about them, but they all have these amazing amenities and features. And for families, multiple family groups or larger groups, you can get a bunch of different houses together. It's really fantastic.
Yeah.
And then of course on the Central Pacific, Los Sueños Resort has some famous.
I love Los Sueños,
So
to
it's,
be
it's,
honest.
it's so convenient
Yeah.
to the capital, and for example, if you're the family group, dad and grandpa and maybe the granddaughters want to go out fishing for the day, the marina is right there, and there's a lot of good meal options on the resort as well.
Yeah.
And then I like for smaller family groups, I like the rentals at Tulamar Resort too, which is
definitely top.
those villas are pretty on point, and the property's just so
The
unique.
location's good, the views.
Yeah, the private beach is fantastic.
I think it's important too, because there's so many rental properties all over Costa Rica, but it's important to keep in mind that like these luxury resort developments, which is like Las Catalinas, Los Sueños, Tulamar, provide an added sense of security and safety,
That's a good point.
and then also you have amenities like a personal concierge on site. There's restaurants within the, development. So I think that's just that's the luxury rental, that really makes a great experience in Costa Rica.
You have all the additional amenities.
Exactly,
like you're saying, Las Catalinas, you have the beach club, you have the couple of pools there, the
And
beach
of course, we
right
didn't even talk about all the luxury rentals inside of Papagayo too.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
PEX, right?
Yeah.
PEXS.
Yeah, where the near the Four Seasons, so you have access to a lot of the amenities that the Four Seasons can offer, but you have the private rentals.
I think, in the same vein, that's one of the reasons I personally love Los Sueños. The longer I've been here, the less I want to travel on the road from San Jose to get somewhere. So being in Los Sueños, just outside an hour away, if you've never been,
Weekend getaway.
it is, right? And it's like old school luxury. I guess it's been there for maybe 20 years or so. It's one of the first resorts you get there. You've got the beautiful golf course and the ocean view, the rainforest. So yeah, like you're saying, if you like golf, if you like fishing, you've got decent dining.
And I think too with rentals, if you have a large group, it is nice to have that communal space. You can all
space,
be.
and then the private chef to come in.
Yeah,
and cook for you.
totally.
That's true. Yeah, and a lot of places, offer that now. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Switching from talking about good chefs, this is a nice segue into this other question that comes up. What about for foodies? So Shay, I know you and me did a food video maybe sometime last year, testing some of the best spots around San Jose. We'll add a link below. But what about the top 3 restaurants, perhaps even just in the Central Valley? Obviously, San Jose is the capital here. We've got about 1 million in population with the 3-4 urban sprawl major cities. What are the top restaurants you would recommend?
I mean, the restaurant at the Hotel Grano de Oro is one of the top in the city. And that's a beautiful colonial boutique luxury hotel kind of in the middle of San Jose. So people that do want that authentic experience
Best
while staying.
dessert in the country.
Yeah.
The best
Not bad,
dessert.
right?
Yeah, the Grano de Oro pie.
Yeah, so
It's
nice.
delicious.
It sounds like you're speaking from
Chocolate
a lot of
pie.
expertise.
Yeah.
You're coming,
An
yeah.
expert.
For those of you who can't see, Aaron is just dreaming. I can see the pie on the top. So other than Grano de Oro, anything else that you love to go to? Shay's Insider tip?
I mean, in San Jose, are we talking?
Yeah,
I love
Central.
myself some good Indian food.
Uh-huh.
It seems to be, and there's quite a few have popped up now. So there's Taj Mahal and Avatar and Taste of India, all in the Escazú area. So that's usually where I go.
Nice.
For a night out.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you have any go-to spots, but high end?
Higher end, I really enjoyed, and I was just there recently, Silvestre.
Uh-huh.
It was really, really spot on, and they have a little bar in the basement, which was pretty
Yeah.
fun to have a few cocktails before.
Central San Jose has been
Central
open for about
San
a year.
Jose,
Yeah.
Silvestre, I think even longer, maybe 2 years.
We actually checked that out in the same
Yeah.
video.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I agree.
nice.
That was a lovely spot.
Silvestre, I like a lot.
San Jose has a lot of interesting spots opening up. So even if you are staying in the city for 1 or 2 nights, you do have a lot of
And
options.
a few blocks away, Furca, for if you're a meat lover.
Right here next to our office,
Yeah,
down the
exactly.
road. That is delicious.
Yeah.
No, that's very true. Aaron, in terms of getting around, obviously for luxury travelers, you've got different options. Charter flights, helicopter flights, private shuttles with your private transport. Can you give us an idea of why Costa Rica is a great destination for getting around like that for travelers?
Well, mainly because there's so much to see, but as much as I like when my clients are able to use the private drivers and get that experience, sometimes logistically, if you're only coming down for a week and you really want to see a couple destinations that are far from each other, it just makes so much more sense to take a private charter flight. And, rather than spending 7 hours on the road, you can spend 45 minutes. Yeah. So it just, it saves you an entire day of your trip to take that private charter flight.
Yeah, and you do see some amazing scenery.
Oh, it is like my favorite thing, the domestic flights or the charter flights.
Yeah,
it's
a lot
so
of people
beautiful.
Are worried about flying private charters or smaller flights in Costa Rica, but in terms of
I've never
safety,
had a bad experience, and I've flown like so many times, and it is so beautiful to get that bird's eye perspective.
The view.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really easy, right? Getting around, whether it's a helicopter or a private charter, people think, you can spend a bit more and do the domestic flight, but if you're a family or a couple who doesn't really worry about the budget,
and
it's
then
not
you
that
can choose the
complicated.
timing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
A private flight getting around from one hotel to the other, that's not a
Yeah.
bad option at all.
No, not at all.
Finally, one of the last questions I wanted to ask you, and it's a good one, is how does Costa Rica combine both eco and luxury in this new age of travel, where consumers and guests coming abroad are looking to give back to the environment? Costa Rica, as we know, is very forward-thinking when it comes to the climate and its green travel. Can you give me some examples, Aaron, of why? And obviously, to my head, Cayuga comes to mind.
Oh yeah,
Cayuga's
a great example.
Can you explain the blend of eco and luxury?
Well, one of the ways to blend the eco and the luxuries, for example, if you have a hotel where the hotel needs to offer air conditioning because it's hot and humid, but how are they going to get that electricity produced? And using renewable ways, whether it be a turbine in the river that goes through to produce electricity that way, or the solar panels. That really makes it a little bit more ecological way to produce the energy for the experiences, to have hot water, air conditioning, an outlet to charge your devices, because even as much as you want to get away,
if you try to be off the beaten track, a tablet charging in the corner.
You want a little bit of internet, so that's kind of one of the ways to do it. And then I always think about the amenities. I'm more and more put off by any of the hotels that offer the individual units of shampoo, conditioner, soap. And most of the higher end hotels now are using just a refillable thing for the soap and the shampoos and things like that, which I think is important because we're not producing all that plastic waste that some of the other lower end of hotels are still dishing that stuff out and just producing.
That's
trash.
becoming slowly standard, right? We've talked about Nayada, we've talked about Villa Buena Onda. They don't employ the idea of using plastic. That's all gone. Many hotels.
And then I think it's also a matter of menu selections. We didn't go too deeply into the food at some of these luxury resorts, but sometimes making sure that they source as much as they can locally to bring down that carbon footprint. And for example, I know that Cayuga did an article not too long about why we don't serve salmon at any of our hotels. It's because you have to fly or ship in salmon from either Chile or Alaska
when
or
you've
the
got so
Pacific
many
Northwest.
great options here
Let's have
on
tuna.
the Pacific and Caribbean.
It's not, it tastes different, but let's have some fresh tuna as opposed to imported frozen salmon. So that kind of
locally sourced ingredients.
And it's delicious. It's good food, but it's locally sourced and it's maybe organically grown, or at least there's some thought put into how it's being produced.
And guys, for those of you who are not aware, Cayuga is the sustainable management chain that's been in Costa Rica for how long? Maybe 10 years, possibly more. I believe they manage 8 properties currently in Costa Rica and Nicaragua. Shay, your Cayuga experiences, as well as other chains, Green Teak hotels do a great job. Like Aaron's saying, as well as the sustainable aspects, what other elements do you love from the Cayuga properties?
Well, I think, and I think about the sustainable and kind of giving back to the local community is really important. Whether it be programs for the local school children or asking, guests can donate funds if they want, programs like that. I think it's also really nice when the hotels also invite the guests to learn more about their sustainable programs. So I know there's one hotel in La Rios where you can take a tour, and see where they collect all the trash
Right.
and then like
And it's
recycle
popular.
the trash.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the pigs eat it, and then all these pigs come up.
Twigs and sticks
Yeah,
and
twigs,
twigs
pigs,
too.
and
Something.
something,
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's true.
yeah, I think that's great. I always think when I think about luxury hotels too, it's like when you first arrive to a hotel, you get a welcome drink. And it's like you can always kind of gauge like how's the welcome drink,
and the cold towel,
and a cold
how
towel,
fresh and honestly natural is the welcome drink.
Or it's the smell of the towel.
towel,
Of the welcome towel. It's like, what did they? Ooh, vanilla.
Okay. I mean, I'm in a good place. This is going to be a good few days. No, that's very true. Fantastic. Well, I would highly recommend a trip to either Cayuga, Green Teak, and there's these small chains popping up.
Yeah.
And even some of the bigger brand names that we haven't mentioned, the JW Marriott, the Four Seasons, you mentioned Andaz. You certainly find some of these sustainable traits, even in these 5-star resorts.
Yeah, and I think it isn't, that's the benefit of Costa Rica. We do have those large luxury chain type hotels, like you said, the JW Marriott, the West End, Starwood, Andaz, Four
Autograph
Seasons.
collections,
Yeah. And so people, that like that, I mean, I love those kind of resorts.
Yeah,
it's amazing,
for sure.
And even those, although they're chain, they do still find ways to creatively blend in kind of authentic Costa Rican flair, whether it be the decor or, I don't know, food items, things like that.
Well, I think there's also a lot of misconception about the whole luxury chain model. Because a lot of times it's a management agreement with the corporate brand, and they're still locally owned, and it's a local owner that takes the pride in providing the level of luxury, but it's, they get into a network where it's managed and reservations and
for sure
get your points and your miles and things like that.
But there is that option though, and then there's also the luxury boutique hotels, which are my favorite.
No, I agree, and I feel like maybe in the last decade or so, the branding limitations with some of these resorts are being reduced in terms of restrictions slightly. I think people realize, and maybe, I don't know, some of these larger brands, that the competition inside the country, for it to succeed, does need to have that flexibility. And you do need to be able to control a little bit in-house, a bit more, about what you're offering, how you're bringing in the products. The story about not importing salmon, I think, is a great one, especially from Cayuga. Guys, well, we have a couple of client questions here. And one thing I didn't ask you earlier about, Shay, I asked you about the food in San Jose. One of the reasons I didn't ask you about hotel cuisine, because obviously there's a ton of hotels here with great food. Brian May on Facebook was asking us, what are the 2 best hotels to combine for a foodie looking to explore the best cuisine in Costa Rica?
Oh, wow. I think Andaz has really good food. I mean, I've really enjoyed any time I've gone there. And the breakfast buffet is by far my favorite.
Totally agree. One of the best breakfast buffets in the country, right?
You could juice your own orange juice. There's like a waffle bar, pancake,
I was just at Andaz and it surpassed.
Were you? Yeah, I think, and then they
breakfast
have
buffet.
Top Resort doing a really good job.
And then they have a ceviche, like a ceviche making
the
part of their
ceviche
restaurant.
station, right? And you can actually make it, and you can learn how to make it right in front of you.
Yeah.
And what would you mix Andaz with? So, so that's your 5-star beach hotel up in the north.
Yeah, so, I mean, I keep on saying Niagara.
I think she's going back to Niagara Springs.
She's trying to get a free night.
Yeah, totally.
Pablo's agreeing. We had a really good breakfast, the Eggs Benedict in Niagara Springs.
No, the Niagara Springs, the breakfast is great.
Yeah. That's true, the nicest combination. If you're coming for a week, 3 nights in Niagara Springs, followed by 4 nights.
I think so too, that it's really important, or I don't know, it's also great that you can get out and about and explore local restaurants in Costa Rica. You know, so you don't have to eat at the hotel. I think that's one of the, beautiful parts of Costa Rica. It's so safe and easy to do that.
True.
And so, places like La Fortuna, I mean, we're still talking small towns here, but Manuel Antonio, there's great restaurants, and it's fun to explore,
Yeah, spot on. And Aaron, Heather Costerman on Facebook was asking us, where's a good place to stay if you want to see sloths, but also enjoy the beach? And maybe a zip line too.
Maybe
a zip line.
Maybe a zip line too. Well, there won't be any zip lines on the property, but as far as sloths, I would say either Arenas del Mar, actually in Manuel Antonio. I saw a mama sloth giving birth.
Oh my God!
Oh wow!
Last time I was there, just in September, it was a pretty amazing experience. They do it upside down. It's, I guess, so maybe it doesn't fall down to the ground. It comes up the top. It was crazy.
Wow!
And then Tulamar, you're going to see the Tulamar Resort. You're going to see some good sloths.
And they have a tour that you can do, right?
And the nice thing about both those resorts is you're going to see the sloths and both of the properties have beaches on the property, which
Yeah.
is not very common
Perfect.
in Manuel Antonio.
True.
So
Yeah,
it's-
for Renes del Mar, another Cayuga
Yeah,
property,
exactly.
that is right on the beach.
And
by
there's
a
zip
video,
lines
yeah.
nearby for so you can go.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Heather,
zip
if you're
lines
looking
everywhere.
for a zip line as she goes past the sloth, but they're two good
exactly.
shouts. Manuel Antonio, Renes del Mar, and Tulimar. Guys, fantastic. Well, as always, we love to finish with our 50-50 segment. It's a quick fire round where I'm going to give you two options. You have to give me your first initial response.
What comes to me first?
What comes to you first? We'll see where you guys are. Okay, so it's kind of on the luxury thing. Your first one, a luxurious stay at the Four Seasons in a private villa or a private villa at Las Catalinas?
I would go Four Seasons.
I'm going to stick with Four Seasons too.
Oh, okay. It is stunning views, right, of the Pablo and those
Yeah.
villas. Okay. Spa treatment at Tabacon in the jungle or a massage at El Silencio in the cloud forest?
I'm going to go Tabacon.
Tabacon.
I'm going El Silencio.
Okay,
I
so
was
that's
just
the
there
first.
last 2 weeks ago.
Nice. You loved it?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. A Cayuga couple's getaway at Cura Design Villas or a Reines del Mar to see a sloth giving birth, perhaps?
I'm going Cura.
Yeah, me too. Correct.
Two Cura?
Yeah.
Well, for couples, you can't go
For a
wrong,
couple,
right?
it's hard to
Yeah,
go.
beautiful location. A high-end 5-star resort or a luxurious 5-star boutique hotel?
I'm like so split 50-50. I'm going to go boutique.
I'm going depending who if I'm going with my kids, resort, and if
Yeah.
I'm going just with my wife, I'm going to the boutique.
Yeah, we're coming back to the package,
Yeah.
right? You're mixing the smaller boutique property like Nayara with maybe a larger resort like Anda.
Definitely.
You mentioned Villa Buena Onda, smaller boutique hotel, and again, yeah. Okay, and then finally, a private chauffeur-driven ground transport or a private helicopter flight between destinations.
No, a helicopter.
No worries there. Helicopter.
I mean, why not? Helicopter.
Why not? Okay, depends on the time of year.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Ah, fantastic, guys.
You just want that feeling of everybody seeing you land in the helicopter.
That would be awesome. Yes. No, I totally agree. Well, Aaron, we've asked you this before. Shay, I've always asked all my guests to come on. What do you wish you knew before you came to Costa Rica? After all your experience here.
Gosh. Well, I think it's important to know ahead of time that things move a lot slower down here, which is beautiful. I mean, that's the point of vacation, right? But
Yeah.
it does take a few days or hours or years or to kind of get used to it. But yeah, things move slowly,
Patience.
Yeah, patience. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I have been taught that lesson many times.
Yeah, and I think that's probably also what keeps us down here a lot. Because
Yeah.
then you realize the speed of everything. going
Oh,
on
it's
back home.
it's a very
Yeah.
beautiful lifestyle. So.
Lovely. And Aaron, this is your second time. So the other question I like is, what kept you here in Costa Rica?
The people. The people really kept me here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people and just the natural beauty of Costa Rica.
gosh, yeah.
Every day I look around and I say, wow, this place is beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It's hard,
It really
right?
is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's true. It's one of those pinch yourself places.
Yeah, and I don't
where you
even
just
live in the
grateful.
capital anymore. Even when I lived in the capital, just seeing the mountains surrounding the capital was pretty
Yeah.
amazing. And now that I live outside of the capital, it's even more beautiful. So it's
Couldn't agree with you more. Coming from a rural corner of Britain where there's no
Yeah.
mountains, and now
Yeah.
in between volcanoes and mountains, the Central Valley.
Well, and it's
So-
like there's, volcanoes, cloud forest, rainforest, jungle, wildlife, beaches. Like the scenery just changes very quickly from place to place.
Yeah.
It's spectacular.
I may have said it before, but I always love that I can be in a cloud forest or up a
Yeah.
volcano or mountain in the afternoon. I'm in the IMAX cinema watching film.
yeah.
Love it. It's always awesome.
I was
Love
gonna
the VIP.
make a post today about my drive into the office today because I was driving through sugar plantations and coffee farms.
Oh.
And I wanted to stop and take some pictures and say, have the post be things you will not see on your drive to work today. And I drove like this big truck just filled with bananas.
Fantastic.
Great
Do
bananas.
it. Do it. You got to send it. We'll share it. Get out on social media,
Yeah,
Facebook.
exactly.
Let everybody know.
I wanted to get in here. I didn't want to stop.
On the way to a podcast. Guys, Aaron, Shay, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
It's been
you so
fantastic.
much.
Cheers.
Thank you, Adam.
Fantastic. Another Frog Pod wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed that topic on luxury. As always, please don't forget to subscribe to follow along on any of our platforms you might be listening. If you have any questions regarding luxury or any other topic in Costa Rica, let me know in the comments box below if you're watching on YouTube. I'm Adam Baker for the Frog Pod. Hasta la próxima.